So let's get started. Good evening. My name is Francesco Fedele. For those of you who might not know me, I was District Director of District 109 a couple of years ago, and I've had the pleasure of leading an incredible team that performed something exceptional, part of which we're going to see tonight. The project that I had the pleasure to lead was called MOONLIT, and the idea was to develop some marketing tools, making an effort to use to our advantage the fact that we were forced to be online. See if I can switch. Okay, yeah. And one of the things that we wanted to produce, as I said, is ready-to-use marketing materials. Now, we were aiming mainly at clubs who were doing online meetings, but it turned out that a lot of what we produced can be used by any club or by any district to promote the clubs in the district. Also, there was a lot of things to do. In order to develop marketing material for a club, you really need to do all these things that are shown here. You need to do a SWOT analysis to understand what is your competitive advantage, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and what are the opportunities or threats that you're facing. You need to define the target groups to whom you are addressing your market strategy. You need to develop key messages. You need to look at the wording of those key messages. You need to come up with a marketing mix, and you need to produce marketing materials, especially in terms of pictures and messages. Well, fear not, my friends, because there is a team who has done a lot of work. And this team was mainly comprised of a few angels, some of which are with me tonight and will help me to answer any questions you might have at the end of our webinar. But there were more people actually involved. These were the ones who really did a lot of work, and they did all the work for you. Now, what is needed for you to start using these tools to promote your club, which is the subject of tonight's webinar, is only to choose your target. You simply need to decide to whom you want. And actually, we have already selected targets for you. So, first of all, we thought that the two main targets to whom we would like to speak were the millennials, people aged between 25 and 34, and the so-called Generation X, people between 35 and 44. But then we even came up with more refined or granular groups, which you might be interested in tackling. So as I said, everything is ready. You only need to decide which group you're going to use, and then the magic is going to happen. So let me try to show you in practice how you can perform that magic. I'm going to show you, hopefully. Okay. This is part of the material produced in the course of the project. And it's a tool to generate a marketing plan. Now, you might not see everything in detail, but hopefully you will be able to download all this material from our website. Let me first of all decide what is our target. Let's say that we start with the 25 to 34, the millennials, the younger target. And by the way, tonight we are focusing on Facebook, but we are extending our project to cover other channels like LinkedIn and Instagram. But for tonight, let's focus on Facebook. We are also focusing on English, although the tool is able to provide an automatic translation in a number of other languages, like, for example, Italian, or maybe French or German or Dutch or Norwegian. At least all the European languages are covered because the project was started and conducted in Europe. Now, I would hope that someone in the future would like to bring the project outside of Europe, but at the moment, that's our main target. And this is important to consider when you will adapt the results of our project. So English is the language that we used. The other languages at the moment are provided through an automatic translation based on Google Translate. So be careful about that. Also, you want to decide if you're aiming at a standard message or if you want to make use of online attendance. In this case, the messages will change slightly. Let's, for the moment, stick to a standard message. And we also have an alternative version if you want to run the same campaign again, but with slightly different messages. Now, below here, you have a ready-made marketing plan for the target 25 to 34 using the channel Facebook. And this campaign lasts 13 days. For each day, you are provided with a key message with a picture that goes with that key message and with a detail that you can post on Facebook. We also provide you with a number of hashtags which you might want to include in your message. And we tell you what strength or what opportunity this particular message relates to. We offer you a call to action, but I strongly suggest that you personalize that to your specific needs. So once you have this, you might want to print it, make it into a PDF, or save it in Excel as you prefer, and start using it. So let's try. I have Facebook open here, and let's see if I can create a post. So I'm going to create a post based on this day one suggestion. The key message is value-based training organization. And the detail message is our organization is based on important shared values while providing growth opportunities. Learn together with like-minded people sharing the values of respect, integrity, service, and excellence. And the picture, if you click on it, will open up, and the picture already has the branding of Toastmaster, and it has, of course, the values of Toastmaster. So all I need to do is actually download the picture. I'll put it here on my drive, then go in Facebook. I want to create a post. I add the picture, which I just downloaded. And for the text, I go here, copy the detailed message back in Facebook and I add the text. And maybe I could add a few or all of the hashtags also. Okay, all I need to do now is press post, and this is going to be my post on my Facebook page. Of course, you might be aware that you can also schedule a post. It doesn't need to be done immediately. When you make a post, you can schedule it. Now that's really all there is to it. It's ready for you to use. I have already created a printout with the Facebook campaigns for the different groups, and I'm going to tell you later where they're located and you can download them. But this is a prepackaged tool. And like any prepackaged tool or prepackaged thing, you need to adapt it to your own club. I have even put it here. Please make sure that you adapt it to your club and local culture. And I invite you to revise what is automatically generated for you, especially if you're using it in a different language, because the translations are not always that good. And specifically add a call to action and the link to your club meeting. Also, you might want to change things around. You might want to modify things. In order to understand how to modify them, you need to understand a little bit how we came up with this tool. So let me go back here and tell you a little bit about the background of this tool. First of all, a suggestion. If you're making a campaign on Facebook, it's a good idea to actually use a tool that will help you in planning and performing the campaign. Most widely used one, and probably the best one, is called HotSuite. It helps you in the sense that it can schedule for you the posts. So you don't really need to go in Facebook and make each post. You use the tool, you program it for the following days, following your plan, and the tool will automatically make the posts for you. Now, HotSuite is a paid tool, but it has a free plan, which you can use. Also, as an alternative, I use another tool called Studiorific, which is a low-cost planning tool, which only costs less than €30 for a lifetime subscription. It has a bit less features than HotSuite, but on the other side, the cost is very low, and it manages more than the 3 channels that you get for free on HotSuite. So you could be running a campaign across different media at the same time with the use of this tool. But as I was saying, I would invite you to look into the background and understand how you can tailor these results that we have provided to your specific needs. So what we have provided you is a list of strengths, a list of connected key messages, and a list of detailed messages. Let me show them to you so that you know where you can find them. If we go back in our tool, there is a part called messages. If I click on this, I will see a table. Line number 1 is where strength number one is. Strength number one is a platform for easy transition from receiving to giving to the professional and local community. This is one of 29 strengths that we have identified that relate to Toastmasters. For this strength, we have developed a key message. Not only the standard key message, but we also have developed a key message oriented to online attendance, and even another key message. So you have a choice of 3 messages for each strength or opportunity. And we have a detailed message which you can publish on Facebook connected to this strength. The link to the picture, and we are developing detailed messages and pictures for LinkedIn. So that means that you could select those strengths and opportunities which are more relevant to the specific target group that you have in mind, or to the specific culture of the target group or of your club. That would allow you to create a marketing plan based on strengths and opportunities which relate perfectly to your target. That is the way you can personalize all this. If I go back here to our plan, I could use the tool to do some personalization. So let's say, rather than the generic 25 to 34 group, I would like to talk to university students. And we have already selected a few messages for you to use. So for example, we suggest on day 1 to use key message number 15. If you go here, you will see that key message number 15 relates to the strength opportunity, unique global mobility, both offline and online. All Toastmasters follow the same university for life. And then you have the key messages and the connected to that. For the following days, we are suggesting other key messages and other connected detailed messages. Actually, for this, we are suggesting to do 1 post on day 1, skip day 2, do 1 on day 3, skip day 4, and so on. So for the first week, 1 post every other day, and in the last few days, just before the meeting, 1 post every day. On the last day, day 14, you are supposed to do a post just on your meeting and invite people, of course, to attend. The reason we chose 14 days or 13 days plus 1 is because many clubs are holding meetings 2 times a month or each second week. But again, you can adapt it to your needs. And of course, you could choose, rather than the standard key message, you could use the online key message that will select a different key message from this group here, the one called key message oriented to online attendance. Or again, if you want to redo the same campaign but want to use slightly different messages, you can go here and use the additional key message. So it's different from the previous time you ran the same campaign. Also, as I showed you, you could select a different language, and this will automatically convert the key message, the detailed message, and the strength opportunity to the language that you have chosen. As I said, be careful because it's an automatic translation. So that's the connection between strengths, key messages, and detailed messages. We provide you with a predefined choice of strength, key messages, and detailed messages, but you could choose differently with strengths and then use the connected key messages and detailed messages. We provide you already with pictures which are ready to be used in connection with the messages and the strengths that we have identified. You need to change them. Consider that changing them needs to be done in connection with the kind of target that you're addressing. How can we help you in this? We are putting all these pictures in Canva, which is a tool which allows easy modification of these pictures and helps you in maintaining the look and feel of Toastmasters. Not only, as you've seen, for each picture, we are providing you with the detailed message. So we have provided all those for Facebook. And as I said, we are in the process of finishing the ones for LinkedIn and for Instagram or Twitter. When those are ready, you'll be able to run a campaign across different media. But of course, you can already start to do that by developing your own text and using the pictures that we have already provided. Not only we are providing the pictures, but we are making those pictures editable by using templates in Canva so that you can modify them or translate them to other languages. How can you get hold of all this? Well, it's easy. Go to www.toastmasterseurope/moonlit or moonlit project. Let me try to show you this on my computer. Here we are. And here you will see all the results of the Moonlit project. The second link you find is a link to a folder where you will find all the already prepared marketing plans. So suppose you want to take profit of the fact that your club allows online participation. Then you would choose this specific marketing plan, which is for clubs on allowing online participation. And what you get here is what you have already seen specifically for that group. You simply download this and start using it. But from this web page, you have more. You have links to the Facebook posts and to Instagram posts, which are ready to be used. And you have links to all the specific project results. If you, for example, would like to go in detail on the SWOT analysis that we performed, you have links here to actually access the SWOT analysis, see the text, see the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that we have identified, both in a graphic and in a document. You can see more about the targets and understand them. And you can see examples of all our work. There is an email which you can use, of course, to get in touch with all of this. Now, I've talked enough. I think we have time and opportunity to answer a few questions. Some of them are already on the chat. If you would like to make more questions, please put them in the chat or unmute yourself and actually ask the question directly. First question from Arno. Have all the pictures been vetted by the branding team at World Headquarters? No. We have sent them the link to our work, but we haven't had yet the opportunity to discuss them with the team at World Headquarters. What I can tell you is that Paula, who is here with us, has been very careful in following the branding of Toastmasters. So hopefully everything will be perfect. But if there are things that need to be changed, we'll make sure we make the changes and keep the links to the correct picture. We have other questions.
I have a question, Francesco.
Yes.
First of all, thanks for the update and insights on that project. So basically, I have one question and one observation. So let me start with the observation. In your website, you just saw for Toastmasters Europe, for the District 109, it's still called FIR Macedonia. If you can change this to North Macedonia, that's the official name of that country.
I will indeed.
Thank you. All right. And my question is, do you have a live implementation example of that project? I know it's quite a new and fresh one, but what I mean with live example is that you have basically people from a club committee, let's say the PR or marketing manager has taken that one, implemented that in that club, and was very significant increase of membership because of that marketing tool. We have some live example for that, as it's too early to say that.
Not yet. I will probably have some data to share with you in a month or so, because I'm using all this work myself in my club, where I am this year the vice president for public relations.
Mm-hmm.
So in a month or so, I hope to be able to show you results with actual data. But
okay.
Otherwise, no, it's too early.
Okay, thank you, Francesco.
Can I say something, Francesco?
Paula, please.
Yes, I've used maybe 3 or 4 of them now on Toastmasters Italia, and they've been translated, the key messages, I mean, and those posts have had good results. Of course, this is it's not a club; it is, you know, Toastmasters Italia. So, but I did get people who wrote asking about clubs, about Toastmasters. So I'm sure that they were coming especially from those kind of messages, because I got the questions right around when those messages were posted.
Great. Any other questions?
Francesco?
Yes, Thomas.
I have a question. Did you also consider when you use it with pixels, Facebook pixel or something, that when you made a paid campaign?
Not yet. That's another thing that we would love to extend. There are, as I said, we are working on extending towards LinkedIn and completing the Instagram or Twitter parts. But extending the system and comprising any other channels would be great. So if you would like to work with us on that specifically, we'd love to have you on our team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's also because then you can really also control a bit the messages, which messages next will be displayed to someone that was looking at it. That was a bit what I had in mind. Yeah, maybe we can talk about this one as well and look into it.
Right.
But thank you very much. It's a good work, and I got it right. If we want to use it, we can only we get from you the PDFs, not the Excel itself. So that.
No, sorry. You can get access to the Excel itself.
Okay, wonderful.
If you follow this link here, which is the first one in the page, it actually links directly to that page.
Okay.
So you can use this page You can modify things here, select a group that you want. When we are ready, you'll be able also to select LinkedIn here rather than Facebook, change the language and all the rest, and generate your own marketing plan or the template from which you can start and then adapt it to your specific.
When we do that, we should better copy it and use it in somewhere else, right?
That would be very nice, because otherwise it might mess up things. We do check on it and put things back in order, but a lot of this is based on formulas. So if you start messing with the formulas,
no, mainly I mean the messages. That's if we plan all the messages or so that we don't mess it up. So we will copy it and then use it.
That's the best.
Okay, thank you.
Francesco, just a point for improvement, because Google Drive service can behave very strange, right? Wouldn't it make sense then that you provide just the public access to that file to download without any modification, just to avoid any administrative overhead and nightmare? Just maybe something you want to consider.
I think as it is now, it is read only.
Okay.
Cannot edit it.
Okay.
The idea is you open it, you create a copy, and then you do what you want with it.
Okay, I have another question with respect to, because first of all, also thanks to the team who has worked on this one, and I can see Manjura from Italy, Paola is from Italy, I think Annalisa is also from Italy. So we have, no, okay, so you're not from Italy, but at least my question goes in the direction of, I assume that the messages you have, which can be used for different target groups, different ages, different professional groups, whatever, but you have used the cultural common sense with that message, right? I know that we have the freedom to tailor-make the message as we want. I'm saying that because, you know, people in Switzerland, people in Italy, people in Cyprus, people in Greece, people in Spain, people in Germany, they have their own, yeah, how to say, cultural message understanding. So that's why we are allowed as well to have our freedom, because we know best our local community, right? How we should address those people, right?
Okay. I strongly suggest that you personalize the thing plan to your local culture. We have to take into consideration the European culture, but as you know, it varies across the continent a lot. And if it's used outside of Europe, then it will be even more different. So please do adapt it to your local culture and to your specific needs.
To answer your question, Frank, actually, I am based in London, in the UK, and part of a club called Experience French, which is a bilingual club, French-English. So, and we are planning to implement that at the club as well.
Francesco, if I can also add in the response to Frank, because Frank, I'm also part of the team. I am based in Belgium, in Brussels, where most of the clubs are multinational, bilingual, and very international. I am not the only person from District 59 who was involved in the project. So in principle, we tried to consider that. And also I have to say that Toastmasters, in a way, is a unique community where this kind of multicultural melting is happening very smoothly. At least this is the case in the clubs in Belgium, where we don't have clubs with less than 5 nationalities minimum. So feel free actually to adapt, but I believe that this is not such a big challenge as it is with other cases. This is where Toastmasters has a great advantage. Helping to discover another channel.
Yeah, thanks, Annalise. So I should say merci beaucoup, Annalise, in this case. And thanks, Virginia. I'm just saying this because if I would take this marketing tool, for example, for the Perspective Club Toastmasters Baden, which is a bilingual club, German and English, than if I would target a German-speaking audience here. I'm in Switzerland, right? With all my due respect to the people living in Switzerland here, but especially if you communicate to Swiss people in Switzerland here in that area at least. So I can only speak for that. I cannot speak for the whole of Switzerland. But we have seen that you need to be very careful what you say in which way. So if I come with a translation in German, I should be very clear about what I say. Otherwise, you might come very fast to the situation. You deliver a message once, but you don't deliver it in the right way, and then the doors are closed. So that's at least a little bit of my experience. I have only in that area of Baden and a little bit of Zurich as well. I can, as I said, I can't speak, for example, for Basel, where Thomas is coming from, or for Geneva or some other places in Switzerland. But that is something as well we have to consider here. But as you rightly said, we have to adapt to our communities over here.
Frank, maybe you would like to talk with District 95 CGD because they are doing an exercise in translating into German some of our work. So maybe that might be helpful for you. But I absolutely agree with, we need to be very mindful of the local.
Okay, thanks for that hint. Can we do a small quiz and ask a question to Morak? Morak, who is the current 95 CGD?
Stefan Sarkov.
Okay, thank you. I was just checking. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Actually part of the team that worked on the draft. So he's very much aware.
Okay, thank you so much.
A question in the chat from Gabriela. Francesco, does the project include tips on how to make the posts more popular, such as the time of day to post? I was expecting this question and the answer is no. We are looking for someone who is an expert on Facebook campaigns. We are providing you with the materials, but we need help in finding out what is the best way to use them, especially time of day. I'm currently experimenting with midday and early evening. What I would suggest you do is you look at the data from your Facebook group. Facebook provides you with an indication of when you have more visits to your Facebook group or to your Facebook page, and that can help you in deciding when to make the posts. The other possibility, of course, is to experiment and see what happens when you make posts at different times of the day and see what works out best. It's also very much influenced by the local culture. So Italy would, of course, be different from Switzerland in terms of what time people are mostly on Facebook. But again, if you know somebody who is an expert on these things, especially at an international level, would love to have support. The work of the MOONLIT project hasn't finished. We are continuing, and as you've heard from some of the team members, they are still around and still willing to do work for all of us. And I am really incredibly happy to work with such a group of angels who have done such a work. With all that said, I think I would like to welcome you to use the results of the MOONLIT project. Thank you for having been with us. I'll post the recording of this webinar in the MOONLIT project webpage. I invite you to share it with anyone you think might be happy to use this, and please give us feedback on the tools, how it is the experience of actually using them, which results you've got. Thank you very much and have a lovely evening. If there are more questions, of course, please send us an email. We'll do our best to answer and come back to you.
Thanks, Francesco. Thanks, team. Bye-bye. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Neben Weinbergen sind noch hunderte Häuser.